Thanks for joining us.
Today, we're navigating the world of information technology careers. We really want to give you a clear picture of, different roles, what skills are important, and maybe where things are heading.
Yeah, think of it as a kind of guide to understanding the IT landscape.
Exactly. We've looked at a whole lot of information to try and pull out the most valuable insights for you, whether you're thinking about a career change, maybe hiring for your team, or you're just curious about what's actually happening in IT.
Absolutely. And we've sort of broken it down by experience level,
hmm
entry, mid, and senior, and also looked at how tech trends are shaking things up. So maybe let's start by looking at those different levels.
Okay, sounds good. Let's kick off with entry level. These are the roles, I guess, where you typically find people with maybe 0 to 2 years of experience. What are some common job titles there, and what do they actually do day to day?
Right. So right at the start, you'll often see titles like help desk technician or IT support specialist. These folks are really the first line of defense, the first contact for users having tech problems.
Okay, so problem solving for users.
Exactly. Initial troubleshooting, trying to get things working again quickly. Then you've got IT technicians. They often handle more of the physical stuff, setting up computers, repairing hardware, running network cables, that kind of thing.
So if someone's trying to get their foot in the door, what are the absolute must-have skills for these kinds of jobs?
Well, for those roles, especially help desk, you really need good problem-solving skills and, crucially, clear communication. You've got to be able to explain technical things simply.
Right. Patience probably helps too.
Definitely. And a basic understanding of operating systems, Windows, maybe Mac, some networking basics, how to troubleshoot common hardware and software issues. What's interesting here, though, is that focused certifications or like intensive boot camps, they can often be more valuable than lots of prior experience at this stage.
Oh, that's interesting. So formal qualifications aren't always the key.
Not always for getting started. For instance, someone aiming to be a junior developer, they need to get decent at, say, Python or Java and just show they're really keen to learn. And for junior network tech, even just grasping the basics of TCP/IP, how computers talk on a network and knowing a bit about routers and switches, that's a great start.
That's really good to know that targeted training can be super effective early on. Okay, so what happens when someone's built up a bit more experience, let's say 3 to 8 years in? What's the mid-level IT landscape look like?
Yeah, this is where things start getting more specialized. You see people working more independently, common mid-level roles. Systems administrator, they manage servers. Network administrator or engineer, they design and look after the networks.
Okay.
And you've got your software engineers or developers building and maintaining software.
Mm,
Also, data analysts, cybersecurity analysts, the ones protecting systems, DevOps engineers, cloud engineers, business analysts who kind of translate business needs into tech solutions, and database administrators, or DBAs.
wow, that's quite a range. And the skills needed here, they definitely get more specific, right? It's not just the basics anymore.
Precisely. A systems admin needs solid skills in server OS, like Windows Server or Linux, maybe virtualization tech like VMware, and scripting helps automate things.
Mm-hmm.
A network admin needs a much deeper dive into networking protocols, configuring complex hardware. Software engineers need proficiency in multiple languages, frameworks. And yeah, often at this mid-level, a university degree might be expected, or at least more specific certifications.
Right, like a data analyst needs strong SQL, maybe Python or R, and visualization tools like Tableau.
Exactly. And a cybersecurity analyst needs to understand network security deeply, know the tools for monitoring threats, intrusion detection systems, things like that.
Okay, so you're really building that deep expertise. Now let's move up again to the senior level. We're talking 8, maybe 10 plus years of experience. How do the roles and responsibilities shift then?
At the senior level, the focus really shifts, quite dramatically sometimes. It's much more about leadership, strategy, and designing really complex systems. You see titles like senior software engineer or maybe principal engineer, software architect.
The big picture thinkers.
Yeah, cloud solutions architect, data scientist, cybersecurity architect, senior security engineer, also IT project or program managers, IT managers, directors, and then you get into the executive suite, CIO, CTO, CISO.
So less hands-on keyboard maybe, and more about overall vision, strategy, making sure all the pieces fit together.
That's a good way to put it. A cloud solutions architect, for example, they're designing massive cloud setups. That needs deep knowledge of AWS, Azure, GCP, whatever platform, and how to build scalable, secure, cost-effective solutions.
Right.
A data scientist at this level isn't just analyzing past data. They're using advanced stats, machine learning, to build predictive models. A cybersecurity architect. They develop the whole security strategy for the organization.
And the skills needed must change too. More soft skills, maybe.
Absolutely. Leadership, strategic thinking, and the ability to communicate really complex technical ideas to non-technical people, that becomes critical. Often you'll see advanced degrees like a master's or very high-level certifications being preferred or even required.
It's a fascinating progression. Now, one thing that always gets me when I look at IT job boards is just the sheer variety of titles. It can be really confusing. Why isn't it more standardized?
That's a great question. And yeah, the lack of standardization is, well, it's a thing. It comes down to a few factors, really.
Like what?
Well, company size is a big one. Smaller companies might just have an IT guy who does a bit of everything, whereas huge corporations have very specific granular titles for every little function.
Okay, that makes sense.
The industry matters too. Finance might use different terms than, say, healthcare or tech, and even just a company's history, its own internal structure and how it evolved that shapes the titles they use.
So a help desk technician at one place could be doing basically the same job as a service desk analyst or IT support specialist somewhere else.
Exactly, or even a desktop support engineer. And this happens at all levels, not just entry. The key takeaway, really, is don't get hung up on the title.
Right.
You have to read the job description carefully. Look at the actual responsibilities listed, the skills they're asking for, the objectives of the role. That's the only way to truly know what the job involves.
That's such crucial advice. Okay, so if titles aren't a perfect guide, what about career paths? Is it usually a straight climb up one ladder in IT?
Rarely.
Right.
It's usually much more like a branching tree or maybe even a web. People often start broad, get a feel for different areas, and then specialize as they find what interests them and where their skills develop.
So like starting in support and then moving into networking.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe help desk, then they get interested in how the network functions, get some certs, move to junior network admin, then network engineer.
Oh.
Or maybe they discover they like security and pivot towards cybersecurity analyst.
And in software.
Similar path. Junior developer, then software engineer, maybe specialize in front end or back end or mobile, then potentially senior engineer or architect. For infrastructure folks, it might be sysadmin, then specializing in Linux or Windows, maybe moving into cloud engineering as that becomes more dominant.
What about management? Is that a common goal?
It is for many, yeah. Moving from a purely technical role into leading projects, then managing teams, and potentially up to director or executive levels. That's a very common path for experienced IT pros.
And across all these paths, I assume learning is key.
Oh, absolutely essential. Continuous education, getting relevant certifications, just committing to lifelong learning. The field changes so fast. Staying current isn't just nice to have, it's basically required for long-term success.
Which leads us perfectly into talking about what's happening right now. What are the really hot areas? Where's the highest demand for skills currently?
We're seeing huge demand in a few key areas. AI and machine learning are massive. Companies are hunting for AI engineers, data scientists, anyone who can help with automation and innovation there.
Right, AI is everywhere.
It really is. Cybersecurity is another huge one. The threat landscape just keeps getting worse, so demand for security pros, analysts, engineers, architects is incredibly high. Cloud computing isn't slowing down either. Need for skilled cloud architects, engineers, people who know AWS, Azure, Google Cloud inside out.
Makes sense. What else?
Data science and analytics are still booming. Companies want to make data-driven decisions. And DevOps and automation skills around tools like Docker, Kubernetes, Jenkins, they're super valuable because businesses want to develop and deploy software faster and more reliably. DevOps kind of bridges the gap between development and operations.
And looking slightly ahead, are there any newer or emerging roles people should maybe keep an eye on?
Definitely. As tech evolves, new specializations pop up. For instance, with AI becoming so pervasive, we're starting to see roles like AI ethics specialist or AI governance analyst. People focused on making sure AI is used responsibly.
That's important.
Very. Quantum computing, while still early days, is starting to create niche demand. IoT specialists are needed as more devices get connected, and site reliability engineers, SREs, they're crucial for keeping complex systems running smoothly. That demand is strong and growing.
It really sounds like the next, say, 10 years in IT will bring some pretty big shifts. What kind of overall impact do you see from these key technologies we've talked about?
The impact is going to be profound, I think. AI and ML won't just create new jobs, they'll augment many existing ones. Developers, analysts, security folks will have powerful AI tools to help them.
So AI is a helper, not just a replacement.
In many cases, yes, though some tasks will be automated. Automation, driven by DevOps practices, will definitely streamline routine IT tasks. This means the skills needed shift towards managing those automated systems.
In cloud.
Cloud platforms will remain absolutely central. Skills related to cloud infrastructure, security, and development will be paramount. Traditional on-premise roles will continue to evolve or transition towards cloud skills.
And security just gets more critical.
Exponentially so. As we rely more on digital systems, the attack surface grows. A baseline understanding of security principles will probably become necessary for almost everyone in IT, not just the specialists.
So it really boils down to that idea of adaptability again, doesn't it? And just constantly learning.
Absolutely. That's the core of it. The IT landscape is just fundamentally dynamic. Staying relevant means committing to upskilling, reskilling. Companies want people who can learn and adapt. It's not just a nice quality anymore. It's essential for a long, successful IT career.
So wrapping things up, it's clear the IT world is vast, full of opportunities, but yeah, it definitely demands that continuous learning and a flexible approach. Understanding the levels, looking past job titles, staying aware of the tech shifts, those seem like the key things.
That's a great summary. Hopefully this overview has provided some useful clarity. There's always more detail, of course, and people should definitely dig deeper into areas that interest them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe think about questions like, how will cloud specifically reshape traditional network engineering roles? Or what are the big ethical questions around AI that IT pros really need to start thinking about now? Lots to consider as you navigate this field. Thanks for joining us.
And be sure to check out the show notes for links.
Until next time.
See ya then.